In the past 24 hours, well, apart from the fact that in the past several weeks, the Yemeni Ansarullah have been intensifying their attacks against Israel, they had an attack, the Israeli side had an attack against Yemen, in particular against the port again. Okay. This place has been attacked for like 4 or 5 times now so far by Israel. They haven't been able to conduct anything significant to stop the attacks of the Yemeni Ansarullah, and they're attacking it again now. Why are they attacking it? They're attacking it because, according to them, they're trying to prevent Yemen, Ansarullah in particular, from reusing this port, reactivating it, and improving themselves and gaining back momentum and power. And of course, all of that is totally unsubstantiated. But from a Yemeni perspective, firstly, they have the routes that they need, they have the supply that they need, whether Israel attacks the port or it doesn't attack it at the end of the day. It's not like if you want to have an embargo against Yemen, you're going to have multiple ships in the area to make sure that nothing goes into Yemen. What's the attack of the port going to do exactly? Okay, they're going to try and redo it again. You're going to attack it. It's not going to make that much of a difference anyway. So they'll still have their supply. It's not going to make a difference. And what Israel is trying to do is actually send a message that we're still going to have these attacks so long as you conduct attacks against us, but without really having an answer to the attacks that are coming from Yemen, which is the main thing that Israel has to address, but clearly is failing and is incapable of addressing. Why? Because, well, if they had an answer, they will show us your answer. There's no answer, clearly. Now, Yemen responded again, this time with a hypersonic ballistic missile on occupied Jaffa, and they're targeting the Ramon airport again. So this time they put all of these areas under total emergency situations. Everyone in these areas, the most populated areas in occupied Palestine, went into bunkers. Millions of people, because of the attacks conducted by Yemen, because they don't know really where the missile is going to land, so they need to make sure that everyone is protected. In the meantime, Yemen said that it's just the beginning. Again, of course, they're going to continue their attacks so long as the genocide continues, and especially with the recent escalation in Gaza, which I will get to in a second as well. They're going to have a plan to increase the attacks against Israel in the coming days and in the coming weeks too, saying that, well, it just began now. Okay, where are things going to between the two countries? The United States and the UK, aka the Genocide Coalition, they neglected Israel after repeated attacks coming from Ansarullah, and after Ansarullah forced 4 aircraft carriers out of the region. Donald Trump eventually said, you know what, I'm not going to have nothing to do with it. I'm going to have a deal with them and let Israel attack them if they want to. Especially after it was ineffective. He tried to have intense attacks at one point, terrorist attacks against a sovereign nation. But it proved to be ineffective. So clearly, the escalation between Israel and Yemen is going to remain an open problem for Israel. It's an issue that they haven't dealt with, that they haven't contained. Israel can claim that they contained Hezbollah in Lebanon and Syria. They, to an extent, can claim that they contained the Iranian attacks because Iran isn't an open front with them. Of course, they support, but it's not an open front. Yemen remains an open front, and Yemen remains the country that Israel has to worry most about. Now, this is all linked to the Gaza Strip. In Gaza, now Israel is beginning officially, semi-official, really, they're not really clarifying, but they've been conducting attacks at the intensity of tactical nuclear bombs on Gaza in the past several days. Today, again, horrific scenes. You can go follow me on X to see some of the images there. Targeting people moving from one place to another, displaced people have been displaced so many times, children, again, families, what we've been used to seeing for so long, and that what will never be and never should be a normal scene, what's happening nowadays. But they're continuing with that operation, saying that, yeah, they're going to target the Hamas. This is coming at the same time that they're facing huge problems internally, by the way. The IDF chief of staff the other day said that even if we have this operation in Gaza, we're not going to defeat Hamas politically, we're not going to defeat them militarily, we're not going to even damage their governing capabilities. Israel tried everything in the past 2 years. Militias having the people flip on them, arming ISIS-linked groups in Gaza, everything under the sun. They failed. Therefore, the IDF chief of staff is at loggerheads with Benjamin Netanyahu, who clearly wants an infinite war. Benjamin Netanyahu's Sparta speech that I spoke about in one of my recent videos is a clear declaration that Israel is on the way to an eternal war. So long as Benjamin Netanyahu is there, Israel will be in a state of war. Benjamin Netanyahu is very likely to cancel any upcoming elections, use his power to change anything he desires in the country. Benjamin Netanyahu is already treating the country and everyone around him as the supreme leader of the country, as the ultimate dictator. Benjamin Netanyahu, in essence, is the biggest dictator in the whole world now, appointing people who he likes, removing people who even challenge him or question his approach and his plans. And he's continuing down this path. Therefore, we're looking at an ongoing war, unless that is someone takes him down internally from within Israel, which doesn't seem to be the case. And nothing from the protests that are happening in Israel are reaching a level where they can actually put Benjamin Netanyahu down. The people around him who even oppose him don't have the guts to take one step further. As if it's a carefully engineered situation here, where the man has to go this far to lead Israel into oblivion. And there is no return. I mean, even if someone else comes tomorrow, there is no return. But he's there. And so long as he's there, there's going to be a war. And his plan is to continue the war up until he dies. There is no other option. He wants to stay in Israel. He's facing legal problems, corruption, criminality, and he can't really guarantee the next elections. He'll use the next elections or the next day to say that we're still in an emergency situation and I will use my powers to continue the war. He already crossed all of the red lines in terms of the Israeli public anyway. It's very well known that prisoners of war will be dying due to this campaign, and Netanyahu is going ahead with it anyway. Some of the families of the prisoners of war are basically now telling the government, just kill me if you want to kill my son or daughter who are held in Gaza still. People completely losing faith in the whole system. And there is no going out for Benjamin Netanyahu. He's still there and he still wants to continue.